Live to you from Johannesburg, this is Afternoon News. I'm Joanne Joseph. Thank you for joining us. We start with this breaking news. The ANC in Gauteng has called on President Jacob Zuma to reflect deeply and do the right thing to resolve the crisis in the party. The Provincial Executive Committee held a special meeting yesterday to discuss the Constitutional Court's ruling on the eNCA debacle. The PEC accepts Zuma's public apology, but believes mismanagement of the eNCA matter has caused political damage and mistrust among South Africans. The Gauteng ANC says far-reaching decisions need to be taken to restore the party's image. The PEC says it'll consult its structures, especially its branches, on the issue. Limpopo and the Eastern Cape have also accepted Zuma's apology. In the studio with us to discuss this is our senior political reporter, Xoli Mngambi. Hi there, Xoli. Let's start off with this. I mean, the PEC calling on President Jacob Zuma on his birthday of all days to do the right thing. What does that mean?
What a fantastic birthday present. But then again, they stop short of saying what it is that this right thing the president has got to do. Already, Joe, we looking at, I think throughout the day, we've been looking at the media reports that have been circulating, quoting sources from inside this meeting, saying that, well, the PEC has decided that President Jacob Zuma should basically resign from office or step down. But of course, the statement they issue now is different from what the reports have been saying, which is basically a line that says he must go. So it's a clear damage control, so to speak. I'm not too sure what it is, and they've got to explain it to us. But what's also quite telling, Joe, is that apart from the statement that they've issued, they've also given us a sound clip of the provincial secretary, Hope Babo, who is basically reading word for word this statement as is, which is also an indication that they're obviously not going to give us interviews. And it tells you that they don't want to engage the public further on what it is that they mean when they say he needs to do the right thing. Of course, they acknowledge already that this has done a lot of damage. And I think also importantly is the line where they say this is shown as a result of the price that the party has paid during the 2014 elections, which resulted, of course, from the anger of the people about the matter. So it's an acknowledgement that indeed we've already paid a price, especially in Gauteng, as a result of this matter. And we think that there has been a complete mismanagement of the eNCA matter, and we've already paid the price. And so, Mr. President, please do the right thing. But what is that thing?
That's still a very good question. Having read this this media release, I'm still not sure exactly what that is. But we seem to have almost an admission here on the part of the PAC going into the forthcoming elections in August that, you know, they are reflecting back on the 2014 elections. They are looking at, well, the anger among the electorate and perhaps an oblique admission here that this may cost the ANC a significant number of votes going into this August election.
That's right, Joe. You've got to remember that the Gauteng ANC chairperson, Paul Mashatile, has long been at odds, I think, with President Jacob Zuma's current ANC leadership, or at national, if you want to look at it that way. He was very public about the eNCA matter, stating, I think from very early on, that it was mismanaged and that in his view it's caused a lot of damage to the party's image. The other issue that the ANC Gauteng, you'll remember, has been sort of haggling with the national structure and I think to an extent government, is the issue of the e-tolls. That's another thing that has also been eating away at its voter support in Gauteng. And so it's a combination of these issues, and this statement is quite clear that the ANC is extremely worried about its prospects in the upcoming local government elections. So it's a wonder whether or not this is possibly a tacit admission that it may possibly not do well in this upcoming election.
Can you just explain to me what this internal consultation process that is spoken about in this release entails?
You've got to remember, Joe, that I think early this week, or in fact last week, there is a branch called the Sefako Makato branch that is in central Johannesburg. It's come out and it was clear that President Jacob Zuma needs to step down. This is the kind of process that I think they're talking about. They're referring to that branches have got to discuss, and that is what we understand branches are doing at this moment, which is to interrogate the Constitutional Court judgment on the Ngandla matter and reflect, of course, on what it has done and continues to do on the party in terms of its reputation, its prestige. We've already seen a number of senior leaders. So this process, when they spell out exactly that, they're not just going to consult its structures of the ANC, but especially the branches, because remember, Joe, everything goes back to what has been said by the ANC Secretary General, for example, that the Jacob Zuma situation versus Thabo Mbeki is that if you want to remove President Jacob Zuma, it will be unlike the Mbeki matter. Mbeki was no longer a president of the ANC. But here, you have a person who's wearing two hats. One is state president and the other is party president. Now, the party, his leadership of the ANC becomes an issue because he can't just be removed by the national executive structure, which is the one that recalled President Thabo Mbeki, because he's not elected by that structure. He's elected by the branches of the ANC. And so the consultation of branches, the ultimate result of that may possibly be that a special conference is called of the ANC to decide the fate of the president. And that is why I think a lot of emphasis is being placed on consulting the branches so that we get their views, because they're the people that elected President Jacob Zuma.
Thank you so much for explaining that to us so comprehensively. Our senior reporter Xoli Mngambi speaking to us about that press release from the ANC Gauteng Provincial Executive Committee just a short while ago, asking the president to do the right thing.